Students, you should know that oogenesis begins in the embryonic life. We have just now seen that. The egg mother cell or oogonia, they divide by mitosis to form many million oogonia. These oogonia then transform into primary oocyte. Many of these primary oocytes, they degenerate before birth. At the time of birth, there are about 1 to 2 million such primary oocytes are there. These primary oocytes are surrounded by layers of cell called granulosa cells. So, it becomes a small nest like structure called the primary follicle. So, before birth, many million primary follicles degenerate by the process known as follicular atresia. Every girl is born with about 1 to 2 million primary follicle in each ovary. Even after birth, many of these follicles, they degenerate. The primary oocyte remains in the status quo, and the follicles, they start degenerate by the same process which is called follicular atresia. And remember, at puberty, there are about 60,000 to 80,000 such primary follicles are there in each ovary. So, here you should note down the term called follicular atresia, which is degeneration of the primary follicles. One more thing, that at puberty 60,000 to 80,000 such primary follicle are there in each ovary. Also remember that at puberty there is a surge in the level of gonadotropin releasing hormone. The pulse frequency of GnRH, it determines FSH and LH release, and FSH helps in the follicular growth. As the name indicates, follicle stimulating hormone, it causes the growth of the follicle, it stimulates the growth of the primary follicle. So, these are the stages that you see. Before birth, all these are oogonia, one oogonium. So, here is one cell that you see, it is oogonium. They divide by mitosis, and then by growth they become primary oocyte. So, this cell is primary oocyte, this is primary oocyte. Primary oocyte is surrounded by these granulosa cells, and this structure is called a primary follicle. So, many million primary follicles are formed in each ovary, and many million of them, they degenerate also before birth. These primary follicles, they are further surrounded by many more layers. Here is only one layer of granulosa cell, many more layers of granulosa cells, and then we will call it a secondary follicle. These cells divide and they form a cavity within. It is called antrum. The cavity is called antrum. Even the granulosa cells, they form two distinct layers. The outermost layer, which is mostly fibrous, this is called theca externa, and the inner layer is called theca interna. Theca means wall. So, this is theca externa, and the inner one is theca interna. And hence, now we term this structure as tertiary follicle. So, in the tertiary follicle, two theca formed and one more, the cavity within, which is called antrum. It is a fluid filled cavity. Then there is a formation of another membrane around the oolemma, around the plasma membrane of the egg. There is a formation of another glycoprotein membrane. This membrane is known as zona pellucida. It's a very, very important membrane. You will understand the role of zona pellucida during fertilization. And now we will call this structure as a mature follicle, which is called Graafian follicle. Students, please note down that this is the stage when the first polar body is extruded, which means that the first meiotic division gets over in this stage. And what we will call it then? We will call it as secondary oocyte. Before completion of that, we call it primary oocyte. This is a primary oocyte. Primary oocyte. So, in the primary follicle, primary oocyte, secondary follicle, again primary oocyte. But then, when the first meiotic division is completed, an extrusion of one polar body, the first polar body, the resultant cell which retains most of the nutrient-rich cytoplasm, this is called a secondary oocyte. It grows further, it continues further, and then again it got arrested at metaphase 2. So, right now this is again secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte because it has not completed the second meiotic division. And this is a mature follicle. This follicle ruptures along with the rupture of the wall of ovary, and the release of ovum into the abdominal cavity takes place. This release of ovum into the abdominal cavity by rupture of the follicle and the ovarian wall is known as ovulation. This entire process is controlled by many hormones released from the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. Now, let us see the hormonal control of these events. The hormonal control of oogenesis. Remember, at puberty, there is a surge in the level of GnRH, and GnRH causes the further increase in the level of FSH and LH. It depends on the pulse frequency of GnRH. A different pulse frequency will stimulate FSH and a different pulse frequency will stimulate LH. But both these gonadotropins are released under the influence of GnRH. So, at puberty it increases and the level of FSH and LH increases. FSH helps in follicular growth and LH helps in ovulation. There is a surge in the level of LH. Surge means a sudden rise in the level of LH, and that LH surge causes ovulation. After ovulation, when this structure got ruptured, there is a release of secondary oocyte along with some follicular cell. The rest of the structure is transformed into a temporary endocrine structure called corpus luteum. This is a yellow body. Corpus means body and luteum means yellow. So, it is a yellow body, corpus luteum, and what is that? It is a temporary endocrine structure, and it is maintained by LH. As long as there is LH, there will be corpus luteum and it will release its hormones. So, not to forget here, primary follicle, every girl is born with many million primary follicle in both the ovaries. They remain in the status quo, no further development till puberty. At puberty, under the influence of FSH, so from here the FSH will continue the further follicular growth, and this occurs in the menstrual cycle. From here to here, it occurs in every menstrual cycle. After gametogenesis, this is a very important topic for NEET examination. It is menstrual cycle. Menstruation, what do you think of menstruation? Menstruation occurs in women and it is a process of discharge of blood and other substances from the lining of the uterus through vagina, which occurs at an interval of about 1 lunar month, approximately 28 or 29 days. This is menstruation. The bleeding per vagina when the lining of the uterus sheds is menstruation. It begins at puberty. Menstruation begins at puberty, and the first menstruation is known as menarche. A very, very important term, menarche. Menarche is the first menstruation. It continues till the menopause. So, menopause is the permanent stoppage of the menstrual cycle that occurs at an age of about 45 to 50 years. In this period, menstrual cycle occurs at 1 lunar month interval except during pregnancy. There is no menstrual cycle during pregnancy. You have learned here two terms. Number one is menarche, the first menstruation, and the permanent cessation of menstrual cycle is menopause. There are some temporary cessation of menstrual cycle that occurs during pregnancy. So, temporary cessation of menstrual cycle is known as amenorrhea. Amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is the temporary cessation of menstrual cycle. From menarche to menopause, a woman is reproductively active. She can get pregnant. During pregnancy, there is a temporary cessation of menstrual cycle, and the term for temporary cessation of menstrual cycle is amenorrhea. Amenorrhea means temporary stoppage of menstrual cycle, and that occurs usually at during pregnancy, or it may also occur if there is some other health condition or maybe weakness or any other condition. Amenorrhea can occur. The normal duration of this cycle. So, how to define the menstrual cycle? So, cyclical changes from one menstruation to another menstruation. These cyclical changes are menstrual cycle. We can define menstrual cycle as the physiological changes in a woman in which the ovum matures, it is ovulated. The ovarian hormone makes certain preparations so that the pregnancy could take place. In the absence of fertilization, the ovarian hormone level goes down. The endometrium sheds, the ovum degenerates, the endometrium sheds, bleeding occurs, and this pervaginal bleeding is called menstruation. The normal duration of menstrual cycle is 1 lunar month, that is about 28 to 29 days. So, I can make this circle to denote the menstrual cycle. Remember, the first day of bleeding is the first day of cycle, whether it may be any calendar date, but the first date of bleeding is the first day of cycle, and from there we count the number of days. And I told you normally it occurs for 1 lunar month, that is about 28-29 days. So, it begins with the bleeding phase called menstruation. Then comes a phase. Let us understand what is happening. We are starting from here so that we can come back to here. Let us see what is happening in a woman. At puberty, the hypothalamus becomes active and start producing GnRH. Recall from your mind what is GnRH. Yes, it is gonadotropin releasing hormone. The pulse frequency of GnRH determines that what will be released from pituitary. the anterior pituitary, under the response of GnRH pulse frequency, releases a hormone called FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Remember, a girl is born with many million primary follicles in both the ovaries, 1 to 2 million in one ovary, 1 to 2 million in another ovary. And also recall that many of them get degenerated. Many of them get degenerated, and this degeneration is called follicular atresia. At the time of puberty, hardly in each ovary, there are about 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles. Even they degenerate after puberty also. But you should remember the number at puberty in each ovary, 60,000 to 80,000. And now come back to GnRH. The pulse frequency of GnRH releases follicle stimulating hormone from anterior pituitary. Follicle stimulating hormone, as the name suggests, will cause the development of follicle. Which follicle? Primary follicle, ovarian follicle. Under the influence of FSH, the follicle becomes secondary follicle when more number of layers are deposited around it, layers of granulosa cell. Then there is formation of a cavity called antrum inside it, and then there is a formation of a zona pellucida around the oolemma, the egg membrane. All these changes occur in the follicle under the influence of a hormone FSH. Remember, in the tertiary follicle, the granulosa cells are rearranged to form two thecae. One is theca externa, which is mostly fibrous, and one is theca interna. This theca interna is responsible for release of estrogen from the follicle. I am not saying that theca interna cells release estrogen. I am not saying that, but indirectly there is release of estrogens from the follicle. So, as the follicle grows, estrogen level in the blood rises, and follicle grows under the influence of FSH. Follicle becomes a complete fully mature follicle. Yes, what we call it? We call it Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle. This stalk formed by these granulosa cells is known as cumulus oophorus. Cumulus oophorus, the stalk formed by granulosa cell. Not to forget that there is formation of zona pellucida around this follicle. A glycoprotein membrane called zona pellucida, a very important membrane around this ovum. This is a Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle. And the developing follicle is actually releasing the hormone estrogens. So, I can write E for estrogens. Estrogen level is rising in the blood. E level is rising in the blood because the size of follicle is growing from primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, and finally, the Graafian follicle, the fully mature follicle. The level of estrogen now triggers a positive feedback. Very high level of estrogen causes the release of LH, that too very rapid rise in the level of LH, luteinizing hormone. Children, this is an example of a positive feedback. High level of estrogen, there is a sudden rise in the level of LH, we call it LH surge, and this LH surge is responsible for this breakage of the ovarian wall, breakage of the Graafian follicle, and the release of the secondary oocyte out from the ovary, which is called ovulation. Students, I want you to keep a paper and pen in your hand, a rough notebook and a pen while seeing these videos, because these are not the serials. You are learning. We are trying to create the same atmosphere like that of a real class. And whenever you find, pause the video and note down the content. Very important. Always keep a pen and keep on working while seeing a video as if you are in a real class. So, this is the menstrual cycle diagram so far we have made. The first day of bleeding is the first day of cycle. The bleeding continues for 3 to 5 days. Then I started from here. GnRH started secreting from the hypothalamus, which causes the release of FSH from pituitary. FSH helps in the formation of this Graafian follicle or the development of follicle in the ovary. Follicle becomes secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, then Graafian follicle, and the follicle, growing follicle, releases the hormone estrogens. Estrogens. A very high level of estrogen is responsible for LH surge, and this is an example of a positive feedback system. LH surge is responsible for rupture of this ovarian follicle, the Graafian follicle, and further release of the oocyte out of the ovary, where in the abdominal cavity. Remember, they are not released directly into the fallopian tube. Secondary oocyte is released in the abdominal cavity. Now, it is very clear to you is even at this time it is secondary oocyte and not a truly haploid ovum. In textbooks, you may find at places it is written ovum released, egg released. Well, oocyte is also an ovum. So, you may take it, but if a particular question, a specific question comes, in what stage the egg cell is released from the ovary, remember it is a secondary oocyte. How many chromosomes? Come on, 23 chromosomes. Right. So, LH surge is responsible for release of the ovum out of the ovary, which is known as ovulation. This occurs nearly in the middle of the cycle. After that, LH is responsible for transformation of the remaining follicular cells, the granulosa cells, into a yellow body known as corpus luteum. So, this is corpus luteum. Corpus means body and luteum. Luteum means yellow, it is a yellow body. Corpus luteum is a temporary endocrine structure and it is a source of hormones. What hormones are released? Progesterone and also estrogens. Now, in the beginning of this luteal phase, luteal means of the luteum, corpus luteum. In the beginning of the luteal phase, under the influence of luteinizing hormone, the corpus luteum grows and the level of hormones, progesterone and estrogen also grows in the blood. Very high level of estrogen and progesterone now generates a negative feedback. High level of progesterone and estrogen causes the withdrawal of GnRH from the hypothalamus, and when GnRH is withdrawn, you can understand what can happen. Anterior pituitary will withdraw the gonadotropins. Luteinizing hormone will be withdrawn. No luteinizing hormone, the corpus luteum start regressing. There is degeneration of corpus luteum, and as the corpus luteum degenerates, the level of progesterone and estrogen also decreases. The progesterone and estrogen decrease below the critical level because the corpus luteum no more exists. Now the corpus luteum remains like a white scar which is called corpus albicans. Alba means white, corpus albicans. So corpus luteum become corpus albicans because the luteinizing hormone is withdrawn from anterior pituitary. The level of progesterone and estrogen fall below the critical level. The endometrial blood supply is withdrawn. There is ischemia in the endometrium, and because of ischemia, and what is ischemia? Stoppage of blood supply is ischemia. And because of ischemia in the endometrium, the endometrial cell start shedding. The endothelium of the capillary, the endothelial cell also shed. The blood inside the capillary comes out, and this bleeding is called menstruation, and this occurs at the end of the luteal phase. Dear students, please note and always keep it in mind throughout your life that the luteal phase is generally constant and it is of 14 days. So whenever there is a variation in the menstrual cycle, it may be 28, 29, 30, 31, other phases may change, but the luteal phase usually remains constant. We can say that ovulation occurs 14 days prior to menstruation. Remember, this is menstruation, this is ovulation. We can say ovulation occurs 14 days prior to menstruation, a very important statement. The level of estrogen and progesterone fall below the critical level, and that is responsible for this bleeding per vagina, which is menstruation. Remember, again, falling level of estrogen and progesterone generates a negative feedback. Hypothalamus again releases GnRH, and the pulse frequency of GnRH causes the release of follicle stimulating hormone from anterior pituitary. Another follicle in either of the ovary, generally alternatively, but it is not a rule. So, in either of the ovary, another primary follicle start developing under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone. Same thing is happening here. Follicle is developing into secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, then Graafian follicle. Estrogen level in the blood is rising. High estrogen causes a sudden rise in the level of LH, and this occurs usually in the middle of the menstrual cycle. The LH surge, sudden rise in the level of LH, is responsible for release of the ovum, rupture of the Graafian follicle, and release of the ovum along with some granulosa cell. The rest of the cells are converted into a yellow body, which is a temporary endocrine structure under the influence of luteinizing hormone. This corpus luteum is the source of progesterone and estrogen. A very high level of P and E in the blood again generates a negative feedback from hypothalamus. Hypothalamus withdraws GnRH, anterior pituitary withdraws the gonadotropins, and under the falling level of gonadotropins, the endometrium is unable to sustain, and that sheds, and this is menstruation. I have explained you cyclically and also revised what happens during the menstrual cycle. Cyclical change from one menstruation to the other menstruation is the menstrual cycle. So, the various phases in a menstrual cycle. Menstrual phase, here the follicle develops in the ovary, therefore called follicular phase. Here the ovulation occurs, therefore called ovulatory phase. Here the corpus luteum develops, and then it is a corpus luteal phase, also called luteal phase. Menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. hormones are changing in the blood, and these hormones are causing changes in the lining of the uterus. There is a cyclical changes in the lining of the uterus, and you know what is the name to the lining of the uterus? Lining of the uterus is endometrium. So what happens in the menstrual phase? Endometrium sheds. When estrogen levels start rising in the blood, the endometrium start growing. The cells start multiplying. Therefore, we can also call this as the proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. So, alternate name for the follicular phase is proliferative phase. It is called proliferative because proliferation occurs. And what is proliferation? Multiplication. Multiplication of the endometrial cell. The endometrium is usually 6 mm thick, and after the menstruation, it hardly remains 1 mm thick. Again, it grows to its full thickness, 6 mm, and this multiplication of the cell is called proliferation, and this phase, alternate name for the follicular phase, is proliferative phase. Here, the P and E hormones are rising in the blood, and what is happening in the uterus is the secretion of the endometrial gland. Many endometrial glands now become active and they start secreting a fluid into the lumen of the uterus. Therefore, alternate term for the luteal phase can be secretory phase. Secretory phase. Alternate term for the follicular phase is proliferative phase. An alternate term for the luteal phase is secretory phase. And the phase of shortest duration, smallest duration, is not the menstrual phase, but the ovulatory phase, which lasts for few hours, roughly in the middle of the cycle. And the phase of longest duration, yes, you are right, it is a luteal phase, because more or less it remains constant of 2 weeks, 14 days. Discussing a very important question: why menstrual cycles cease during pregnancy? And the temporary cessation of menstrual cycle is called amenorrhea. So, another language of the question is, what is responsible for amenorrhea during pregnancy? Try to understand. See, every month the hormone levels and the physiology of a woman prepares the body, the physiology, it prepares the body of a woman to become pregnant. It prepares the uterus for implantation, and that's the reason the endometrium thickens, it becomes secretory, and all other changes which are in direction of gestation, pregnancy. We have seen that after 1 month, after 1 lunar month, in the absence of fertilization, the ovum degenerates, corpus luteum degenerates, endometrium sheds, and menstruation occurs. Now, focus on a condition that as long as the ovum is viable, best viability is 24 hours in 1 day. And if it gets a healthy sperm there, and if fertilization is successful, there is formation of an early embryo. Try to understand. Again, beginning is the same. GnRH causes the release of follicle stimulating hormone. This causes the growth of the follicle and the ovulation. On the 14th day approx, there is ovulation. I am now drawing it here. This is the released ovum, and along with the follicular cells, they rearrange to form a membrane. We will talk about that later. And now, just imagine a healthy sperm fertilizes this ovum, zygote is formed, early embryo is formed. After that, because LH transform the remaining cells into corpus luteum, and corpus luteum is secreting hormones, primarily progesterone but also estrogen, mainly progesterone. In normal days, what happens that because of very high level of P and E, a negative feedback generates, the GnRH is seized, FSH and LH, the gonadotropins, they decrease in the blood, and because the LH is decreasing, the corpus luteum start degenerating. Till here, ovaries has not noticed any change, and the corpus luteum as usual grows bigger, and approximately after 1 week it start regressing. But now, and why it is regressing? Because the LH level is declining. Now, remember, this early embryo is start producing a hormone called HCG. Now, why it is so? See, for the embryo to sustain, the endometrium must be healthy. If there is no endometrium, there is no pregnancy. Therefore, during pregnancy, bleeding or menstruation should not occur. So, in order to maintain the endometrium, nature has given the early embryo the ability to produce its hormone, a gonadotropin like LH, and because the pituitary LH decline, but the LH, a type of LH known as human chorionic gonadotropin from the early embryo, rescues this dying corpus luteum. Corpus luteum again revives. It is being rescued by HCG hormone, and corpus luteum start producing its hormones, progesterone and estrogens. And as long as P and E are maintained in the blood, endometrium is maintained, and as long as endometrium is maintained, the pregnancy is possible. HCG from the early embryo revives the corpus luteum, and as corpus luteum revives, the estrogen and progesterone hormone are maintained in the blood, and they are very important for maintenance of the endometrium. And for pregnancy, a healthy endometrium, an intact endometrium is required. Remember, students, if bleeding occurs during pregnancy, it is a sure sign of miscarriage. Face two type of questions. Number one is this only: why there is amenorrhea during pregnancy? There is amenorrhea because there are no gonadotropins. No gonadotropins, no menstrual cycle. Remember, very important. For menstrual cycle, gonadotropin should come from the pituitary. No gonadotropins, no menstrual cycle. So, during the pregnancy period, LH and FSH never rise. They are maintained low, very important. You may come across questions like which of the following hormone does not rise during pregnancy. Another type of hormone, another type of question that you may come across: what is the reason for bleeding, or what is the reason for menstruation? Remember, the reason for menstruation is low level of progesterone, because progesterone maintains endometrium. Very low progesterone, endometrium cannot sustain, it sheds and menstruation occurs.